literally walked in past my flight last week, and the first thing out of your damn mouth is, "Yes, son!" Anyway.
Well, to be fair, both Matt and I talked about it before you came on.
Okay.
It's not fair.
This one goes out to the Rambo Cat.
Fire!
This one goes out to the lads I found last night. A simple show to occupy my time. This one goes out to the Rambo Cast. Bye. Yeah. Or Rambo.
Woo.
I love that
nice.
song. That might have been your best one yet.
Thanks, Jack.
It was all right.
It's all right.
Hey, at least you had one this week.
Hey, at least you were here last week. And
You
the
just
week
were really
before.
quiet. You were just really quiet. That's all.
Yeah, it's been a
Has
it's
it gotten
been
any better?
No. Yeah, I guess fuck it, whatever. I'll jump right in. It's therapeutic to talk about it. Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, I wasn't feeling it. I just was not feeling well at all. I don't feel good right now either, but last week, so we began the journey that I've been on for the last, it's been consuming my life for the last, I don't know how long it's been, but so we made the move. We pulled the trigger, and we moved my mom into an assisted living facility, which went fucking very poorly, like real bad. Yeah, for those who I've kind of like shared a little bit about this in the past, but if you're just tuning in now, my mom has my mom's got dementia, and it's really rapidly worsened over the last year or so. So we moved her into an assisted living facility under the guise of, she came out and had lunch with my brother, and then we came up with a little white lie about a pipe bursting in her house that she couldn't go back, so she had to stay at this hotel that we found for her, and
okay,
all this stuff. And then yeah, so it didn't really work out so hot, because 2 days later they called 911 and had her brought to the hospital, because she's been yelling at people and hitting people.
And this is from confusion from dementia, or
Yeah,
he's just okay.
yeah. So it's been I'm
I'm just saying it runs in the family. So
fuck you. So yeah, it's been pretty tough. So
if you're looking for sympathy,
no, I'm not going to get it. So for the last 10 days or so, my mom has been in the psychiatric ward of a hospital out here. They're trying to regulate her medication to make her not be so manic and crazy and all. But
well, to be fair,
it's been hard.
She doesn't know these people, and she doesn't know where she's at, and she's confused, and you can understand why she's doing what she's doing.
1,000%. None of this is her fault, right? So,
Right.
I mean, and no one's even remotely close to feeling or thinking that. It's just, it's been
she's
hard.
probably worried about that pipe bursting.
Yeah. I mean, she's lived in her home. And she's lived in the home that I grew up in since 1972.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's the last thing that she's had that she can hold on to, and of her prior life, with my dad before he passed and everything. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate the comment.
You think your dad passing accelerated her?
1,000%. 1,000%.
She didn't have that anchor.
Well, yeah, I was talking to a customer that came into my store who happens to be one of the renowned experts in in brain health at Mass General Hospital here in Boston, And I was telling him the whole situation. He's like, hey, honestly, like, she's probably had this for a long time. It's just your dad totally compensated for it. Maybe knowingly or unknowingly compensated for it, which makes a boatload of sense, you know? So about 4 years ago, we had her, like, you know, go through like the whole psychological testing for all of this. And she had, you know, early onset dementia. That was 4 years ago. You know, the psychiatric facility that she's in now is now graded her as moderate to severe, which is tough because she's starting to, like, you know, even like her gait, you know, how she walks it's being impacted by it. It's a shuffle. Yeah, exactly.
Shuffle,
I mean, she's got serious like arthritis, and that's another thing that's been kind of masking it. I think we all just kind of like said, "Oh, it's just her arthritis acting up," you know. Right. But no,
you don't want to believe it.
No, I mean, we're realists, you know. Like, but we didn't see the forest of the trees in a couple different scenarios. So she's on like day 10 in this facility that she's in, and with our goal is to get her to go back to the same place that we moved her into, but into a different portion of the place. They have like a memory care unit specifically, which, fuck, man, it's so much money.
Oh, no doubt. It's
so much money. Like the place that we moved her into, like that she's we're currently paying for, is $11,000 a month.
Wow,
shit.
And then on moving her into the memory care units, additional $3,000 a month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's gonna be like $20,000 a month, but yeah, it's still a lot.
Yeah. What was that, Jack?
Anything covered by the government?
Not yet. I'm
just saying.
No, not yet. So
I don't even know why you bring that.
No, it's hold on.
Sure, I know, but it's just everything
defense,
the way.
In Jack's defense, like, it's actually a very valid question, right?
Yeah,
so, like, we put my home that I grew up in a family trust like 5 years ago.
That's good.
Knowing that these days were upon us, you know. Because what that does is it actually protects the asset from being taken and used for care, right? So when she runs out of money, right, in which you know, she will, if she lasts long enough, she definitely will. But she's got enough money probably to keep her there for maybe, like, you know, or maybe around 5 years, right?
Okay.
4 or 5 years, you know, like, just to kind of sustain her. But you know, knock on wood, I mean, if she survives, you know, in her state and she runs out of money, then that's when Medicaid would kick in.
Yes, I don't think you can't put money into it and use Medicaid at the same time. I think it's
exactly. So by putting the house in a family trust, the government can't go after it.
Right. And also these places pray after that. They want, of course, to know if you have a home, it's like that's collateral, and
of course it is. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So now the other side of that is being in a trust, we can't sell the home,
right?
Without having severe penalties. As, like, you know, what if we wanted to sell the house to use it towards paying for her care? We can't. You know, we could rent it. You know, we could rent it out, but I don't want to fucking deal with that. It's almost 2 hours away.
Get a management company.
Yeah, you could, but I mean, it might not be worth it. You know, hiring a management company to do all that type of stuff. You know, the house is in Western Mass, out in, you know, in the western part of the state, and it's like,
where's the home at? Is it closer to you?
It's closer. It's close. The place she's at now. The place she's going. It's closer to us. It's 10 minutes from my brother.
Okay.
And it's about 45 minutes from me.
Oh, still, that's a great.
Yeah.
It's better than 2 hours. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's.
Did you guys rock paper scissors that?
No. My brother, who, God bless him. Yeah, I'm not even religious, but I say God bless him just as a good, you know,
sure,
you know, good faith. But like the idea is like he works in that industry, so he works in like healthcare and elder care. So he actually knows all the ins and outs, and he's handled all of it, which is like I can't even imagine. and it's so hard for him because my mom and my brother never really saw eye to eye. You know, even when I was
older brother, younger brother,
older. He's 5 years older.
Okay, all right.
We never really saw eye to eye, or I'm sorry, they never really saw eye to eye growing up, and it's always been kind of a strange relationship. And
so he's like my age.
Yeah, and when you have, he just turned 50 actually on Groundhog Day.
So he's a little younger than.
Yeah, it's a little bit younger than that. So
Fuck you.
And with
49,
my mom's,
thank you very much.
with the mom's disease, like I don't know, Jack, you can probably attest to this too. I think you've been through it as well. They get fucking mean. Like their disposition is, you know, as Jack, you mentioned before, it's out of fear for the unknown of understanding what's going on.
Right.
But there's a mean streak that pops out, and it's fucking terrible. And she is like always angry at my brother. And he's doing all the heavy lifting, which is like.
Does she remember him?
Yeah.
Okay. She hadn't got that point where she doesn't know who he is.
Well, she's confused both he and I for her brothers, which is
okay.
That's fucking weird. So we're getting there. Like it's we're not far.
Sure.
So
yeah, it's just tough, man. You know,
it's the worst. I mean, because I know with my dad, like I said, he masked it for a long time too. There were signs out there, like he would call me on the phone and would talk to me for like 3 hours. I'd be like, "You used to talk to me like 15 minutes ago," and he would go, "Your time is up." And that was it. He'd hang up, you know, and that's what we put on his. He was.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
Your time is up. My sister came up with that. So I said, "Yeah, perfect." But then I go, because my wife would continue to come by and go, "Who are you talking to? Your mom?" I go, "No, my dad. He won't get off the phone." And it was because he was seeing things. He had Lewy body dementia. It was just, and you know, he didn't get violent, but he had. It's funny because he thought people were trying to break into his house and people were trying to get him and stuff like that. And he had knives in every room in the house. I found a switchblade and I'm like going, "The hell's a switchblade doing in here?" So we were taking the knives out so he wouldn't stab anybody.
Yeah,
you know, it was like it was just, and like
it's crazy.
And like towards the end, he would go, "I was his friend from, you know, when he was a kid." And he goes, "You remember when he did that?" I go, "No, but why don't you explain it to me?" You know, it's because he would go, "Yeah," and he goes, "You're my friend." I go, "Yes, I'm your friend." Yeah, that was the hardest part for me because
remember when we killed that hobo?
Exactly.
And you're like, "Shit!"
No, tell me all about that, Dad. Yeah. I mean, friend.
Is there a reward out for you?
Anything to help pay for this shit. You know?
Yeah. Well, my dad he was big on insurance. He had insurance for him to be in a home. My sister, who's can't walk, can't talk, all this different stuff. He had insurance. I mean, he just had insurance for. And in fact, she's still staying at his house. Is now she's staying there, and we have a long story. But anyway,
that's another backstory.
Yeah, it's another backstory. But he had insurance for everything. He was covered, but we never really used it. We never brought people in to help him because he was having. I would fly out there. My sisters would spend time there. Everyone was just kind of spending time with him. And in fact, the hardest part for me was not so much he didn't recognize me. It was that one time I was staying there and I finally got him to sleep because he thinks that, you know, the walls are caving in and everything he was thinking. And then I hear this boom and I go running in there and he's on the floor crying. And I never saw my dad cry ever. And he's crying. He said, I almost got away from him. And I said, "It's okay, Dad." I go, you know, I got him back up. But then my sister, he goes, "Where's the warden at?" The warden. I go, "The who? The warden?" He was talking about my sister. One of my sisters. And I said, "Hey," I go, "he won't calm down. You got to come out here." And she lived like 20 minutes away and she had to come in there. I said, "The warden's on her way. Relax."
Yeah. Because it's hard, man. Like the disease is brutal, and it turns people into things that they're not, or it uncovers underlying like thoughts that are untamed. You know what I mean, like that type of thing. And it's really hard.
It sucks. And
you get to a point though where like once you come to that point of realization, and it's hard. because I've gotten to that point and I fall back from it. And like, no matter what you do, if you have a conscience, it's hard to kind of manage it all, but you have to separate. And that's the hard thing to do is you can't, it's hard to separate the person from the disease, especially when it's someone who's your close family member and someone who's, you know, your entire life has been a different person to you, you know, it's very difficult. To the chat, you know, Randy says, yeah, went through all that's awful. Wish you the best. Thank you, Randy. Sherry asked in the chat, you know, it's hard on all those involved. Sorry to hear about this. May I ask you how old she is? Ironically, her birthday is tomorrow. She'll be 77 tomorrow.
Okay.
So she's relatively young, all things considered, which is tough. And I will say though, like even in the last 2 to 3 months, like even like Thanksgiving to now, like transformed into like physically transformed into something that's almost unrecognizable.
So she, like you said, she was masking it for a long time. And
but we all knew she had it. Like after my dad passed, like we've hired help to come into the house. You know, we have had in-home care coming in. We have, you know, we've known like it's been a thing. We've been working with, you know, her healthcare providers for like the last 5 years on this whole thing. It's just, it got to the point where it was just too much, you know, and it wasn't safe for her to be home, even when we had people coming to the house to check on her, which is, you know, how we got into where we are today. Man, it sucks. It's not great.
It is not. I know my dad's password on his computer was "I'm losing my mind."
Fuck.
And I'm like going, like I said, he was like one of the smartest people I've ever met. I mean, he's just very smart, very logical.
Did he tell you that, or did you figure that out? Or
well, my sister got on there and figured out what it was. No, he didn't. It just was like. It's like I said, what Chris is going through now. It's terrible. I mean, it's I wouldn't wish that on anybody, really, to be honest with you. It's just see someone you love and care about, just the way it's terrible.
And like I went and visited her last week. I was at the hospital she's at, and man, like these psych wards are like the behavioral units, I think they call them, which is essentially a psych ward, right? I think those terms are no longer used. But in the elderly behavioral ward, man, it was fucking awful being in there. Like it was awful walking into that floor. Like everything you think from a cliche, like, you know, like the best I can relate.
Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, it really was fucked, you know, and it's not a place to like live with dignity. Like that's not who people are.
Right.
So at the very least, you know, the place we're going to be bringing her back to hopefully next week is a you know, it's a memory care unit. So she'll be getting a studio apartment essentially. I mean, a place. It looks like a really nice hotel. You know, the place is super, super nice. So we're trying to just give as much, you know, dignity and normality if it's possible, but keeping her safe and, you know, and it's not something that we can do. It has to be done by professionals, right? So that's where we're at, man. Yeah. So needless to say, I said, fuck you. I'm jumping on the show last week. I'm like, I need to just fucking get fucked up and hang out.
We understood.
And
like, we knew the assignment.
It was bad enough we didn't have Chris, but we had no song. It was just one of those days.
Yeah, and needless to say, some of my old vices have come back. I've been handling the stress of it all. So you might see me vape a little once in a while here on mine. It's the first time in like 4 years, but you know what? Fuck it. You gotta do what you gotta do to get.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
My best recommendation to anybody who's concerned in the point of their life or their family member's life, that may head down this road, create a fucking safe word. Or like a safe thing to say, that way the person understands what you're doing is right and what you're doing is trying to help. And granted, they probably will forget the fucking safe word, but at the very least, you're doing everything you can to help the person.
Sun's getting real low.
You know, help the person understand that what you're trying to do is nothing but help.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I'm sorry you're going through that. It's just
that'll be mine. Is the Hulk. You know, if I start and you guys say that to me, then I'll know.
Mine would be Spanos sucks. So
yeah, it can't be. You see me there every day.
Your password too.
No. What we have to say is actually your safe word is going to be Spanos is God.
Because then it would go in contrast. It would go contrast of what
we're trying not to piss him off. You know.
Yeah. Now I'm going to be hitting people.
Yeah.
You know, there it is. But yeah, man, it's brutal. It is what it is. But
I'm glad that you're able to join us this week. And the couple weeks before that, like Jack also, we talked about this on last week's show. Got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and is working through that. So
yes.
We discussed that on the show. You weren't here for that portion.
I was there on text though.
You were there on text, and we
you
discussed,
knew a lot. I was like,
we actually, Well, Nick,
my
you're
former
the,
career,
you're the diabetes guru here. So.
Well, I went to a nurse practitioner because I didn't have a primary care doctor because they keep leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's me, but so I had, in order to go to a specialist on diabetes, I had to get a primary care doctor. So to get a primary care doctor, I have to go to someone first to recommend me to a primary care doctor. I don't know why.
Must be a North Carolina thing. Yeah, it must be.
That's
not what happened when
that's an HMO. That's an HMO.
Oh, plan. HMO. Yeah. Okay.
I was like, and I don't mind because it's funny. This primary care doctor is in Durham, which Bull Durham. It's like 45 minutes away from where I live, and that's the closest I could get. I went to her last year, and it was funny because I was supposed to get some blood tests done, I guess, and I didn't hear that part, and so I walked out without getting the blood test. And she goes, "And yeah, I remember last year you were here. I remember you. You didn't get your blood test."
Fuck!
Blood test. He goes, "Yeah, you just."
There's a wanted poster of Jack in the back.
Yeah. So this time she goes, because Cindy was with me. This time she goes, "Well, you don't know where the blood tests are because you walked right by it, but it's there and to your left. Can you find it this time?" I go, "Yes, I'll get my blood." She's very thorough. I mean, last time
she just schooled you, man.
She did. It was like an hour. It was like
a teacher calling you out for skipping.
Yeah. And this time it was like, because nurse practitioners are better than doctors.
Oh, they do more work.
Yeah. They really put their effort into it.
They've also had to go to school for a lot more, like overall, like they have to know a lot of like a big picture, whereas doctors tend to kind of specialize in like
and as a former employee,
my best friend is a nurse practitioner.
As a former employee of Johnson & Johnson who had to deal with all these doctors, in treating the disease state, thank you on behalf of everybody for opting to find a specialist or an endocrinologist, because the overall medical knowledge of a primary care physician around diabetes is absolutely fucking trash.
It's trash.
And it's with the scary part. I know I've talked about this. I know I've said this before, but that's one of the reasons why I left the industry, is because I legitimately knew more about treating diabetes than the average primary care physician.
Going back and forth, I'm like going,
it's unbelievable.
I haven't been diagnosed yet.
And it's like, it's crazy. But on the brighter note, my territory was Greater Boston, right? And the Joslin Diabetes Center is in Boston, and they're like the standard. They're like the gold standard in our country for.
So I need to move to Massachusetts,
or go to an affiliate.
They are number one in health.
Yeah, so we are. Yeah, but I'm
with Duke, so
But the Joslin has satellite offices and satellite branches that they endorse across the country, which have to go through a strict, whatever. But like,
well, she's recommended a class that Cindy and I take about eating and different stuff about. Then she said, I don't know about you, Nick. She said something about I need to protect my feet.
Yeah, nephropathy.
So everything that where your end of your capillaries are going to be, which is your fingers, your toes. Think about how far away those are from your heart. And so you have to keep socks on most of the time. You need to, just try to take care of your feet the best you can. Yeah. Like I said, try to keep your blood sugar regular, all these.
Yeah.
And then like
look
your Your eyes are the other thing that you have to
Yep.
also, because your capillaries in your eyes are so. They always recommend getting your eyes checked every year.
I have an appointment in a couple weeks.
Yeah, because like what'll happen is the capillaries in the back of your eyeballs will start to bleed, and you'll get like and they'll dilate your eyeballs, and they'll look and they'll see like if you have these little spots in the back of your eyeballs to see.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You also have to look at your feet.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds weird, right? But think about the disease. Type 2 diabetes is typically, not all the time, but typically is a disease in which affects people who are like really overweight.
Really overweight,
right?
Yeah.
That's typically the start of it all. And think about the person who's typically very overweight. When was the last time they saw the bottom of their feet? Right. Probably 20 years. And I'm not trying to be joking about it. It's real, right? And the problem that you run into, especially when you have type 2 diabetes, is you have nephropathy. I can never say that.
It's okay. I can't say it either.
It's
necrophilia.
Nope. Definitely not necrophilia.
Nailed it.
Nephropathy. Anyways, it's when your nerve endings stop working.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what can happen is you can get sores that turn into like lesions and such on your feet, and they get infected, and they can cause even severe damage. Right.
That's what she was saying. She said,
and the problem is that you can't, if you don't look at your feet and you have nerve damage, you're never gonna feel the problem happening.
You will get sharp pains in your feet from time to time, Jack, and that's just gonna be normal. You'll just feel like someone like not quite like a nail through your foot, but it's like someone.
It's funny is I had that for like the last 6 months.
Yeah,
it's like all of a sudden my foot feels like it, and I didn't know what was going on. I just figured it was I broke my foot. I've different injuries, but it's like when she was saying her feet, she goes, yeah, make sure you check your feet before there's nothing in there that could bite you. Or I'm like going, really, for my feet? And she was like, you
don't know what you can't see, and you don't know what you can't feel.
Well, it's funny you weren't here last week, Chris, because when I was getting it, they thought I already had diabetes, and I was just I had messed up on my, I didn't take care of myself. They were giving me the stuff, and they said, did you lose a lot of weight lately? I said, yeah, like 13 pounds. They go, no, did you lose a lot of weight? So they couldn't figure out how I came up with it, how you got it. How I got it. I'm just like going, I don't know. I didn't ask for it. But it's just like
I don't know. Fell into a well, got diabetes,
got
kicked by a mule.
You probably can't say it. I just get on Amazon, get you some hospital socks. That's what I tend to wear.
Okay, all right. But I just I go my feet. I go, huh?
Yeah.
And I wear these just all the because I work from home, so I just wear them all the time. And you get like a pack of like 12.
Because you say you don't want to lose your limbs, you don't want to lose your eyesight. I go, no.
Are you pissing a lot?
I was. I mean, I was like, I couldn't quench my thirst.
Yeah.
Yep.
And because Matt and I talked about it like a week
we talked about it like prior to this diagnosis.
I said, man, I cannot get enough to drink. I'm drinking water, Gatorade. I'm drinking orange juice.
It was one of those times where like it was before you guys jumped on, and Jack and I were talking about like being old men peeing in the middle of the night. And then I was shocked at how many times you were going to pee in the middle of the night. Yeah. And I just was like, that's not natural. But I was
the prostate or diabetes. Yeah.
I was like,
it was like, I guess so. My numbers, I guess, were kind of high, but but they didn't. They were more concerned about my blood clots in my back.
Yeah, you probably had ketoacidosis too.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I no doubt he did.
What is that?
It's when
Jack's face just now was like
it's when you have it's when you have your blood glucose is too high
all the time,
right? And it goes too high, and what happens is that your insulin levels will like go crazy, attacking all the blood glucose, and what happens is it turns into blood ketones because of the breakdown of the proteins. Just I know way too much about this shit, but it breaks down in the way they can test it is that you frequently piss. You have they call it polyuria. And when you're pissing that much, your body's trying to get rid of all this stuff. That's how they actually test for it too. They have you piss on a stick, and you can test the level of blood ketones in your system. But if your ketone levels are too high, then it can really fuck you. Like your blood will fucking curdle. Yeah, your blood literally curdles.
Yeah, I found out I was doing the you have to pee in a cup. Mm-hmm. I was doing it all wrong. You have to get a stream going.
Yep.
And then pee in the cup. I was at the doctor, like they took all this blood from me last week. Or I actually stopped for the blood, whatever it was. And
pee in the cup? Damn, I was doing it wrong.
No, I was sitting there like this. I'm sitting there. I was sitting down using the bathroom. You can think of what I looked, I go, and they had instructions on how to, I go, oh, I didn't know you're supposed to get a stream going and then pee in the cup. Yeah. I just pee into the cup. So I don't know if that holds against me or not, but
yeah. Well,
but anyway, I'm eating better.
So now that you've been on the pill for a good week now, and I assume that you're
I can't get pregnant.
Yeah, you can't get pregnant, but I assume that your blood sugars now are leveling out to where you're fairly normal.
Well, no, I'm still like I got down to 195, but
down.
Down
what the fuck were you?
He was 400.
490 something.
You were holy fuck.
Yeah.
So I mean maybe because it's slowly coming down. Like when I got diagnosed, mine was beyond 500, and they gave me so much but I could just feel when you come down like really quickly because your body has gotten used to being high for so long that when you come down even to a normal level, like you'll start to shake and you'll start feeling funny. So now sometimes I'll run out of insulin like while I'm sleeping and I'm like, I'm getting up in 2 hours. I'll wait. Just within those 2 hours, my blood sugar will go from like normal to like 350. And by the time I wake up, I can already feel it in my head. I can feel my hands. I'm like, God, I'm already high. Like,
I was 292 when I came home today, and I go, all right. I'm always high at night.
Yeah, because that's
I try to stay high at night too.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. Time. That's my favorite time.
I don't remember the last time I wasn't high at night.
Yeah, that's actually quite normal, Jack, for people to spike at night because your hormones and all of your everything it's in a different stasis while you're sleeping versus being active, and that's.
No, I mean when I come home.
Oh, you mean it? Kid. Oh, you mean while you're still up at night, not while you're still. Oh, yeah. That's too because most people eat their biggest meals, easily.
Yeah. I don't have I have to poke myself.
Yeah. Well, like I said, yeah.
I forgot to say last week. I go finally. I had to go on YouTube because Cindy was killing me. She was like, ah. I go, yeah. She goes, be a man. I go, that's sexist. Number one. I go, number two. I go, you're killing me. I go, that hurts. I go, how come they did it so? So finally, we figured out how to do it. I can't hear you, Chris. You're muted.
He wants us to take a commercial break.
No. Well, I wasn't, but why don't we do that? May as well.
Sure. Okay.
So when you're pricking your fingers, where on your finger are you sticking yourself to get a blood draw?
Well, where I'm sticking, I did like.
No, I bet she's not. Where are you doing it?
Top.
No, do the sides. That way, because you have if you do a different spot every time.
No, I do it like right here.
No, you don't do it where your calluses are. Like you do it on the sides of your fingers.
Because you don't
I do like right here.
No, on the side, like here,
there,
like here.
Yeah, let me get something to.
Like here?
Like on the sides of your
right
fingers.
Here.
Really?
Yeah,
because you have like 10 times more nerve endings on your fingertips
on the tip
than you do on the side, so you won't way less.
Right now it doesn't hurt because I'm doing it the right way.
And you actually, if you think about it, if you do a different site every time you do it, you've got 10 spots that you can hit on one hand, so you can your one finger won't get like destroyed.
Well, the worst thing is I'm on blood thinners, and today I hit boom!
Whoa!
I go, wow! I know that thing's going crazy.
Super soaker.
Yeah.
Like
I said, it's like I've been diabetic since 2009, and like it's come so far even since then.
Yeah.
And then like I used to have to, when I would prick my fingers, I would have to like squeeze the shit out of my finger to get like a huge drop of blood. Now like you need like a pinhead. It's so small.
0.1 milliliters.
It's ridiculous.
Or microliters.
I know, Matt. I think all of us thought that as well, Matt Treist.
You shouldn't
Yeah.
do just the tip.
That's a really prickish joke.
Oh.
You can finger your prick. You can prick your finger, but you can't finger your prick.
So related, but not
I
related.
don't
So
know
before we hit
about that.
record, Jack was talking about how, because they tell you as soon as you're going to die, you got to give up sweet tea, you got to give up wine, you got to give up things.
I don't.
I know
like
you don't
sweet
drink
tea
either
or
one.
wine.
You don't
I
drink
don't
either
like
one.
either one.
But you were talking about how you hate Diet Coke, and I said, well, you should
Oh my
drink
God,
Coke Zero.
it's the worst.
Yeah, Diet Coke's terrible. But yeah, like Coke Zero, I like only with ice though. I will not drink it straight out of the can. And then, like I said, like I like citrus taste, so I think Sunkissed Zero is really good. Mountain Dew Zero is pretty good if you like Mountain Dew. I mean, I think people who actually like Mountain Dew will probably think
I like
it's first.
A&W
Oh,
sugar
root beer.
free.
Yeah.
So
It's really good.
I like to throw my my suggestion in the mix. I have drastically reduced my soda consumption, at least while I'm home.
Yeah.
And it's because I got a Soda Stream. If you don't have a Soda Stream, I highly recommend it. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, you showed
Like
us when
when
you
you
got
pee?
it like years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah,
I love
it.
it.
I remember when you got it. Yeah.
That is my iPhone and my Soda Stream are probably like the two things I never could live without, because I literally make every night. I make one of these. So all this is I buy like those the flavor enhancer squirt things like Mio and like Kool-Aid makes them. They're all like you could find the ones that are sugar free, and I just make one of these. And that's grape Kool-Aid carbonated. It's fucking delicious, and
Nice.
there's no sugar.
Nice. Randy, I the first one was Jack chomping on it. I so badly want to say D's.
Jeez.
He's chomping on D's nuts.
And secondly, start the stream before filling up. I don't think that works with the Soda Stream.
Yeah,
So,
no, I don't think so either.
yeah.
And I also saw today on TikTok, if you put a bunch of grapes in here, and you can like with no liquid, you can carbonate a grape.
What?
So you can make fizzy grapes.
That's
I was like,
weird.
that's fucking awesome. I'm gonna try it next time.
Like, how many grapes do you have to put in there?
No, you can put it as little or as many as you like.
Oh, fizzy grapes. Interesting. What about watermelon?
I don't know.
Like you stick the whole watermelon into the
whole
stuff.
watermelon.
The whole, and then you just compress the.
Jack, you're muted.
Jack, you're muted if you didn't know that.
I want a big one. No, you're not.
One or all of us do this every week. It's like, how long have we been podcasting?
I don't know.
Well, I've been podcasting for like 15
Lost
years.
count.
9 years.
It's like boomers on Zoom. There's always that person. We've been doing this shit for years.
21 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, but just for us, 9 years.
Yeah.
Is it?
Has it been 9 years?
It'll be 9 years in April.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Wow.
That's wild. Because Cindy always goes, "You're recording the Married Man tonight?" I go, "It's not the Married Man." I think Colleen was on last week, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She kept saying, "I go, it's not the Married Man, not the Married Man, not the Married Man."
It's been Ramblecast for longer than it was Married Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I go, you do post these shows. I don't like to call people out though.
You never have.
On a happier note, I
Yes.
did finish season 2 of Shrinking.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can I just say that I don't want to spoil anyone who hasn't seen it. A lot more understanding than I would be. I probably would have been there pushing him in front of the train, but that's just me. That's just me.
The show is about growth, though.
I get it. And
unbelievable.
that's
the show
my
is
growth. I'd
about
be like,
healing. So
I get it, but
Right.
and I know Chris heard my theory last week that
when did he have time to listen?
I didn't listen
he
to it.
did.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
theory
so-
is that it's.
Oh right. And I said I would
I'm
buy
drawing,
you.
I'm drawing a blank on the main character. What's his name?
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Jason Segel, Jimmy.
Jimmy is actually in a coma, and he's the one that was in the accident, and he dies at the end.
And I told Jack if that theory comes true, I will buy him a window cleaning Roomba.
Yeah, because
because I don't
think-
believe
Work
it.
for Dar-
I just think
Jimmy works
Jack
for
has
the-
missed the entire point of the fucking show. But
No,
okay.
I get the show. I get the show, but
Why would he be in a fucking coma? It would
Because
take
everyone's
all
too fucking
meaning out
happy.
of
They're
any
too fucking
growth. It
happy.
would take-
You like
it would
every
take-
character. All right, the guy that kills his wife.
They are.
We like
They are
him.
happy, but they're also struggling. They're
him.
not,
We
like,
like
just
Roy
hunky
Kent.
dory.
We like Roy Kent.
That's what throws me off, is because he's doing a completely different voice. He has no beard. It's like, man, Roy Kent looks completely different.
Yeah.
And he has a mole on the side of his face that we didn't know he had when he was Roy Kent. Am
Yes,
I right?
Miami Mike.
Yeah, I agree with Mike. See, Miami Mike agrees with me.
No, Miami Mike
but
is saying he's definitely not in a coma.
Not in a coma.
Oh, fuck Mike.
It is not a coma.
It's not a
I-
coma.
I'm glad you're getting your
But
eyes
I
red.
think you brought it up, Chris, and I'm going to give you credit here.
I wasn't even here last week.
But no, he said that he's the
Before
one
when
that
we were trying to
said
convince him.
that you like every character.
Yeah.
There's nobody
All
you
of them.
don't
Part,
like.
yeah.
And I'm like going, I was like, episode 4 or 5, season 1, I go, you know what? I go, Chris was right. I like every character. And just because I
Write
got
that down.
Cindy to watch it.
Show
And she
notes.
loved it.
Chris was right.
Yeah. And I don't say that very often. And but Cindy liked it, and we both said the same thing. I miss the show.
Yeah.
I miss watching it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
In
the
fact,
problem
we-
with
we-
binging a show is that
We saved the last episode for like 2 days because we knew it was going to be the end.
Mm-hmm.
I go, I don't know if I'm ready to give it up.
Right.
I mean, I know it's going to come back, but I was like, oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, they're not like
I wonder if they're going to do a three seasons and done, kind of thing. Because you
can
got to
see
figure like you can't have Harrison Ford on an endless contract. I can only imagine that they got him on
It costs a lot.
for so many.
Bring me some
So many seasons.
Fun dip, bro.
I mean, but
I can
he's
see it being a 3-season show. Yeah.
he's also in a recent interview said like he just thought he saw all of these other actors having fun in the Marvel movies, and that's why he wanted to do.
Is he
one.
that bow-legged?
Yeah, right.
Is he that bow?
No, I think that's just the way he's walking for the character.
Okay, because he's bow-legged, man. I mean, and he and I said, is he that much shorter than everybody else? I looked up, he's 6'1", it says, but I guess getting older, you lose.
And your posture's not as good.
Yeah, I said,
Jason.
God.
And Jason Segel's
Segel.
tall. Though.
Yeah, he's
I'm
tall.
telling you.
I mean, he's tall, but even everybody else in the cast is tall.
Mm.
I mean, it's a great cast. I mean,
Sorry, it's fucking freezing in this room.
I believe it, but it's you guys were right, spot on. It's one of those shows that you just go, I'm glad I watched because it's fantastic.
Since we're talking about shows, Matt had brought this up a few weeks back, and I got around to about 2 weeks ago watching it, which is the Ted Danson show.
That's the one I was.
Man on the Inside, which is a good show. It is a good show. I felt they're trying to capitalize on the only murders in the building kind of,
but
it's different. It's completely different. But I felt they're
Right.
trying to capture that.
Is there a guy named
feeling,
Norman?
So for the other so Nick, since you watched it, I had that same initial thought.
Oh, did you?
Like I had that same initial thought when I first watched it. I thought, they're trying to capitalize on this, but the show is actually based on a documentary. It's not. It has.
Oh.
Yeah.
really?
So it actually exists in its own kind of separate creative bubble, and it draws no influence from that. You can see where some Netflix exec would be like, great, this will be our only murders in the building.
Well,
But
that
it
how
has
they
a different vibe. It
It's a
has
joke,
a different vibe.
and
And if you're looking for a show, Jack, that has a positive, like you enjoy the characters, it was a show that my son, we were like on the middle of the season, and my wife and I were watching it, and he just comes in and he's like, he got sucked into the mystery of it. And it's a very good show. Yeah. I hope, I'm glad Nick, you checked it out.
Yeah.
And
I listen to you guys. I mean,
Well, I was gonna watch it, then I said, oh wait, I gotta watch Shrinking and Severance.
Severance, yeah.
and
Separate.
and
Which I haven't watched the last episode yet. I haven't watched it
and
either.
Nick, just to kind of, or not Nick, sorry, Chris, just to kind of like recap, like Man on the Inside, Ted Danson is basically going undercover in nursing home situation. Oh yeah, that's right. Chris, you said that somebody else at your work had told you about it.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit too close to home right now to watch.
Right now.
No,
yeah.
yeah.
Like, but it is a very.
That's kind of why I chose to put that in one of the old.
It's a very positive, uplifting. It does have a good.
I really don't like positive shows, but I'll give it a shot.
It's good. Okay. No, it's good. It's a good, lighthearted show. And it's.
Is it a comedy?
It is a comedy. Yeah.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of every. I mean, like I'm saying, it's got a little bit of a different thing. He's the main character, and there's a whole ensemble of side characters. But he's hired to be a private detective, kind of man on the inside. He's hired by a private detective to be the man on the inside in a. It's not a nursing home. It's a assisted living.
Assisted living.
Okay. Yeah, assisted living center. And because there's something that's happened, and they want to get behind it. And it's one of those feel good in that he gets to know a lot of the staff and the people that live there, and and I have a feeling because the next season I guarantee will be completely different than this season because it'll be kind of a different thing.
How does Ted Danson keep working? What I mean, the guy never stops.
Yeah.
Of course, he was born in San Diego.
I just looked it up. The Mole Agent. It's a Chilean documentary that came out in 2020.
Oh.
And it's a similar premise so it was a documentary.
So the documentary was real, obviously. And then...
So the documentary was 2020. It was called The Mole Agent, and Mike Schur, who did Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and
which is a great show.
But anyway, he's the showrunner that did this. So
yeah,
so
I'm gonna watch. I just got caught up in Shrinking and.
Oh yeah, Sally Struthers. She makes Thanks, Sherry. When she appears, I was like, wait. I was like, what? Who is this? I know this person. I had to look it up. I didn't recognize her.
Shelly Struthers. When I see her, I can't think of South Park.
I know.
Oh,
it's mean, but I can't think of South Park.
Sure. Well, remove that because I think they hurt.
She was great in All in the Family, but she tried her own spinoff and it didn't work.
I did not even put 2 and 2 together. That was Sally Struthers, and now that I think, I'm like, that is fucking Sally Struthers.
Yeah.
My God.
It's like her voice got me. I was like, I know that voice, and I had to go to IMDb. And
again, it's not fair, but what South Park did to her just wasn't fair. But
it was a classic.
It was funny. It's not fair, but I watched the show. I watched this. It's a 6-part miniseries. It's called American Primal.
Oh yeah, that's one I think I told you about.
Did you tell me that?
I think I said. Oh yeah, I text you guys in the group that you should watch it, but then I did not like the ending, and so that's why I never brought it back.
Okay,
up.
You know what?
Yeah,
I was the same way. The ending, I'm like, okay, I don't want to spoil it. When I go, how are they going to go to there show? Without any supplies?
Yeah, so it's like a 6 or 8 episode.
It's 6 episodes.
6 episodes.
What's it called?
American Primal.
American Primal.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be
what streamer is it on?
Is it Netflix, Jack?
It's Netflix.
Yeah,
I loved it until the end. I was like
going. It's rushed, and then it's just kind of like, oh, okay. And,
but there's no way they could go there without any supplies. Am I right?
Right. Yeah.
They have no supplies. They got a kid with a broken leg.
Yeah.
It's probably
a compound fracture.
Yeah, they have a Indian girl who has no tongue. And the main star who was in Glow, I don't know her.
That's
she's also
the woman.
Okay. She was in Glow. She was the second lead to
Alison Brie.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's no.
Oh, Mark Maron.
Yeah, with Mark. Well, Mark Maron's not in it, but she was in.
Mark Maron's the second lead.
Okay, well, the female. She was like the main actress, and anyway. Betty
Glippin.
So it feels so for Chris and Matt. It's kind of a niche story in that it's about people kind of moving west, but also in this weird time period when the Mormons had not just Utah, but like this huge area because they were trying to carve out the entire West for themselves.
Yeah, they wanted to make a utopia. It had a name. It was something weird. That whole land out there.
Right. Brigham Young is never portrayed in a
good.
I mean, if you watch Hell on Wheels, he's a dick. I mean, I don't know.
Well, so you got
school after
you basically got 3 kind of combating societies. You've got the Native Americans, you have people moving west, and you've got the Mormons. And it's called Primal for a reason. I mean, it's got some stuff in it. You're like, oh shit, didn't expect that.
It's brutal.
Yeah,
but it's got you like Indians. It has Indians. It has bad Mormons. It has. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Does that have Native
I liked it. Yeah, the guy from Sons of Anarchy. Yeah, he's in it. Yeah. He's Brigham Young. But it's
right.
Yeah. I enjoyed it until the last 2 minutes. I'm like
exactly, and then you kind of go,
well, there's no way you're going to go to California,
right?
Spoiler alert, without any supplies. I mean, there's no way. They're looking at the mountains. What's it, the Sierra Mountains, right? I'm assuming that's what it was. I go
Sierra Nevada.
Could be the Rockies.
I go, there's no way. It's snowing. You have one gun,
right?
I just thought it was a bullshit ending. I'm just
that's what I felt. I felt someone probably spent some time writing it and then went, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, it's like it is. It's like I said the same thing. It's like they gave up.
Yeah.
I go, how are we going to wrap this up in 39 minutes? I go, that's what we're doing? That sucks. But I do recommend one. It was pretty
5 stars. It sucks.
No, I would say
ending
4 stars
sucks.
because the ending was like, I'm not buying it. Like I said, the kid's leg was shattered.
Okay. Another show that we were watching that I enjoyed this week was Severance.
Severance. I haven't watched this week's last episode yet.
Oh, okay. Jim Motari had mentioned he had jumped on the chat with us last week. He had just watched it and was like, kind of expressing that it things happened or what have you. And I did. I liked kind of how that last episode ended. There's something going on with one character. I can't remember her name because it's the older woman and she's in a car out in the middle of the tundra.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on with her this season? What the fuck is going on with her? Okay. But what the fuck is going on with her?
Like I said, I honestly think that was my theory from the very beginning, is that all of this is Lumen's psychological department. And they're doing tests on people, and including her.
So there's a scene where she drives right up to this barrier.
Right.
There's no barrier there. But I think that's her trigger. Like we've all seen the trigger happen as they go into the building. But what if her trigger is outside?
Yeah.
And it's like there's like a barrier there that once she drives past that, it goes off, and then she becomes this other, and she's wrestling with that.
Right. And that's a lot of this stuff really made me think, because clearly the innies and the outies are all employees of Lumen. So it's like there's something that we're not privy to yet. They're all company people.
Yeah. In
and out. And it's
correct. Yeah. Yes.
Is anyone worried when you're watching this thing that they're not going to be able to land the ending?
Well, that's every show.
I mean, but seriously, you're like going, it's so complicated. You're like going, okay, how are they going to end this? How's it going to land with an ending where we go, okay, I got that. There's going to be some stupid thing that we don't get.
I did like this last. I think it's the last one I watched. The last one I watched with the goats. I did enjoy that twist of like, ooh, there's a whole other society that's even beyond fucked up than they are.
Yeah. And they want to see their belly buttons.
Right, and that's where Captain Phasma went.
Right.
When she died prematurely in Star Wars.
Yeah, it was her voice again. It was like one of those like, this person, I know this person.
It's Brienne of Tarth, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all in Jimmy's coma. There you go.
You're going to say, hey, Jack was right.
They are in Jimmy's coma. That is what I will accept. This is the show that would have a coma.
So speaking of coma, I've been trying to watch season 2 of Silo.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Mike. You were just seconds behind him.
Oh, there you go.
So that was something, Chris, that I said to Matt last week as well, because Matt had not at this point watched the last 2 episodes of Silo either. The last 2 or 3 episodes of Silo are excellent. So
okay. All right.
Okay.
It is a slow burn, but
gonna push through.
Yeah. If that's where you're going.
Yeah. But on a brighter note, on Silo?
Yeah.
What the fuck just happened? Ah, man, I can't
Like
remember.
you're 5 or 6 episodes in. Or
Yeah, I
something?
think so. Around there.
That's probably where I'm at.
Yeah,
I'm somewhere like a little over half way. So
I'm just like fuck. I can't sit through an entire episode without like doing something else. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
like Matt said,
Yeah.
Matt, it's like it doesn't pass the dad nap test.
I can't last with it. But I know I've talked about this before, but I can't stop talking about the immense joy that I'm getting in watching Lost with my daughter.
Oh, nice.
Oh
Like,
yes,
it has
Lost
been
update.
it has been a fucking great, like, it sounds so cheesy, but like it's such a great feeling to watch it again. I haven't watched it again. I haven't rewatched it in years, and to watch it with someone who's enjoying it for the first time, and it's something that my daughter and I are bonding over, is like fucking phenomenal. Like, she has this teacher at school who's, I think, a little bit younger than I am, or maybe our age. I don't even know. But he's a huge Lost nerd, and she's like connecting with him at school. Like he goes, she goes in and tells him where they're at, and he's making sure he's like bringing down what he says, and he's not going to spoil her or anything.
It's tough.
And I'll tell you, like, she's so perceptive, and I'm like, listen, I'm like watching her, and I'm like trying to figure out, like, is she getting it? Like, what is she get? And she's like, oh yeah, that's the guy that he was running up and down the stairs with, referring to Desmond. When the Desmond episode's revealed, like when he's the guy, holding the rifle to Locke's head, and then she's like, oh yeah, that's Desmond. That's the guy he was running up and down the stairs with at the stadium.
She doesn't know it's Desmond yet, right?
No, she does. Yeah, she does know.
Oh, she does?
So
Okay.
so where are we in Lost? Asks Randy. We just watched yesterday. We watched the episode where Shannon gets shot by Lucia.
Because she was pregnant with Boone's baby.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair.
So
I mean,
that's. Okay. But it's so funny. Like, we're talking about all the getting to know the characters of shows, and it brings me back to Lost, where like this is where I learned to appreciate character development.
Yeah,
and and I'm seeing my daughter enjoy that. She's like, I love this person. I love this person. This person I don't trust. And just seeing her like react to the characters is just so satisfying. Like, as compared to some of the shit that she watches normally, like, I'm seeing her like mentally connect and like to all these different characters, which is just so cool.
But
what was that?
Well, I was gonna say, like, when it just comes to character development, that's why, like, that show kind of ruined stuff for me too.
It really fucking does,
because it's like, there's so many people I knew that loved Big Bang Theory, and like, I don't hate anyone who loves Big Bang Theory or if you liked it or whatnot, but like, to me, coming from something like Lost or Breaking Bad, and then going to that, I'm like, it's the same show every episode in and out.
Yeah, I mean, it's canned laughter, just like most sitcoms or anything on CBS. Basically, anything on CBS, it's like, we're gonna put a laugh track with this.
Right.
It's hard to rewatch.
Yeah.
It's hard to rewatch shows with laugh tracks.
Yeah, I mean, to me, they're forgivable if they're from the '90s or older. But like, in today's society, if I hear a laugh track, it's immediate. Like, I'm not watching it.
Yeah, I mean, Friends has it too, and it grates. It grates after a while. My kids notice it more than anything when we watch sitcoms, because if it's got a laugh track, they're more likely to be.
That was my biggest complaint with Big Bang Theory. I go, all right, why are they laughing?
Well, I mean, there's other things too, with just the fact that they're really not geeks. They make fun of geek culture, even though they embrace geek culture.
Yeah, and they get it wrong. That's the biggest insult.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
but
but the rewatch with your daughter, though, I mean, that's really cool.
It's been so cool.
It's exciting.
And like the talking about the character stuff, and it's like fresh in my mind because we watched it yesterday. But like, I think about Shannon, right, on Lost.
I bet you do
hate her for 98% of her time, on that show, for 98%, and then there's a 2% in which you're like, holy shit, what this person went through is fucking terrible. Like, I watched that episode last night and I completely forgot about Shannon's like past, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, that happened.
Her mother-in-law,
mother-in-law,
not
her
mother-in-law,
stepmom, looked at her after her father died and said, "Oh, you weren't listed, so it all comes to me, and you get nothing."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Holy shit!"
That's why Boone had to impregnate her.
That's like the fucking origin of a goddamn supervillain.
Right.
Like it was so fucking like savage. And I remember sitting there and I look at my daughter and she's like, "What the hell? like what is wrong with these people?" And then but then that 2 minute or that 2% of her career on the show is completely just justifies why she's such a cunt the entire fucking series.
And she gets killed off by the most hated character on Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I didn't know is her dad had a skill set.
Yeah.
That we,
But that's what I'm saying. That's the brilliance of that show.
Unbelievable.
Aside from Hurley, every character on that show, you start off with one opinion of them and it will change,
Yeah.
And I think I'm not sure if I said it here or with another person. I was like, like you look at Jen. Jen is the perfect example of a character you absolutely hate in the first few episodes.
Oh,
and then you see his backstory of why he's so protective of Sun. You're like, oh, I get it. Like,
my daughter said, "I'm sorry, I felt that way about Jin." Out loud to me. Like that was I think that was the first episode coming back, or second episode coming back to season 2 because you kind of get a little bit more of his backstory.
Well, she was pregnant with Jin's Michael's baby.
Yeah. So it's just oh man, like I hope we all, I mean, I know we all super appreciate what we got to experience in that show, almost 20 years ago now. Fuck.
It was amazing.
Actually, it was 20 years ago.
Shit.
21 years ago.
And the fact that it actually holds up so fucking well.
Because it's the reason it holds up is because of the characters.
Yeah, it's unbelievably good, and like man, I'll be having these gushing updates likely weekly. I'm gonna need y'all, between season 4, I might need a little bit extra support from you guys. I might be getting frustrated, but yeah, man.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
I've been kind of waiting to do a Lost watch until my kids were at a point where they were ready, because I'm the same way. It's like I want to die when I digest it again. I want it to be with them, because I think watching it with them is going to be a fun kind of.
It's the best, man. It's absolutely the best,
and it's just it's kind of waiting for the right moment. My son after coming out of Lord of the Rings would be prime for it for sure.
Let me ask you something. So like the first Easter egg, as far as I know, like the first purposely placed Easter egg is the tattoo on the shark in season 1. Has she started noticing any of those, or are you having to point them out?
So the tattoo in the shark is so fucking hard to see.
It is, yeah.
Like the only reason we saw it is because we were fucking obsessive assholes consuming this shit back 20 years ago. Yes, something did come up where she was like, "Oh, that's the thing." I forgot what it was. What the fuck was it?
Well, Treese in the comments says that 20 years ago we were just about to hit season 1, episode 15.
But some of the Easter eggs, she's like, "Oh, hey, that's Jack." Like in the episode when who was it? He was like the surgeon that walked by after Shannon's father was killed in the car accident or something like that. It was.
It was car accident.
Yeah, Jack
we all thought Locke was the driver.
That's right. Yeah, and like Jack brushes by the other doctor, and she's like, "Hey, that's Jack. What's he doing here?" But yeah, dude, it's.
Well, the shark tattoo is what got me going on. Once we saw the hatch, in season 2, I go, "Oh, Saeed pulling that cable up." I go, "There's an underwater hatch."
Mm-hmm.
People, "You're an asshole. You're wrong. Stop talking about it. You're a dick." I go, I'm not giving up on it.
I am really thrown back by how perceptive she is and how she picks up on these things, because like she's picking up on stuff that I think that we didn't pick up on our first go around, and it's really cool to to see her kind of like process.
I wish I had some kids to watch it with.
You can't watch it with your grandchildren?
I'm thinking like when they're two. I have all the younger ones. Maybe I can start with like 2 and 3. Is that?
Well, that's what I think, because it's been a while since I've watched Lost as well, and it's different watching in your 20s versus watching in your 40s, I bet. And it's kind of like we've talked about.
Why the fuck you gotta put it that way, dude? That sucks.
Well, I just meant the way that you perceive things.
I know. I'm like kidding.
Yeah, I know. But it's like we've talked about with Goonies, for example, like how much humor as a kid you find it hilarious because there is so much kid humor in it, but there's a shit ton of adult humor in it that goes right over your head. And then when you watch it, you're like, I can't believe they got away with that, that joke or whatever they're doing,
Yeah, man. I love the Goonies so much. That's my favorite movie of all time. I've probably watched
clips of it. I've watched it once.
Really?
Yeah, a long time.
I probably watched that. As a kid, I watched that at least once a week.
Oh, all the time.
So it came out when I was an adult, so it's like.
And did we talk about this, Chris? Where they've proven that Back to the Future and Goonies took place on the same weekend, on the same almost the same day. Yeah.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it a thunderstorm?
So good.
I think we talked about it like a month ago or so. Because like if you look at the the date, from the time Doc is putting it in the computer, October 22nd, 1985. And then you look at the newspaper when Bran is working out and it's the Saturday. So it's like it's the same time. Right. It's the exact same time.
The nuclear Saturday.
Yeah.
So I watched a video of what's his name? Eric Stoltz talking about he was on with Bob Costas.
Yeah.
And they asked him about, you were 6 weeks in. Why? He goes, they just chose to go a different direction.
Yeah.
He handled it probably. I mean, it was like going.
I'm sure it's sensitive to him.
It's like well.
Imagine it's like going to the Super Bowl and losing. You're this fucking close.
Have you seen the clips of him as Marty?
Tennessee, where they're like this close to the Rams, and like a
1 yard,
foot,
1 yard,
and then get the touchdown. But I mean, I'm sure that doesn't hurt you. But and then they asked. Then they asked. Oh, that's right.
I was at that Super Bowl.
They asked Michael J. Fox, but they had a young thing. He goes, well, I heard he didn't want to do it anymore, so I was okay with replacing him. I'm like going.
But did you see any of the footage of him as Marty?
It's terrible.
Like comparatively speaking, it's like a fucking cardboard box.
Well, they say because was it who's the girl, the hot girl, the mom, the
right.
Leah Thompson. Leah Thompson.
Well,
Michelle Lee was on Knots Landing, and Herbie the Love Bug. She said that he thought it was a drama.
Oh.
And they were saying, no, it's a comedy. And so he was playing it as a drama, not a comedy. And because that's how he perceived it. And that's why, and you think someone would have said, no, it's a comedy or a dramedy.
But you think when you're surrounded by 15 people who are immensely more funny than you are, like you might have picked up on that too.
Well, it's funny.
I don't know. Maybe the director could have directed.
Yeah. Well, you had
come on.
The guy that played Biff said, I was ready to punch him in the face.
Right.
Because he would, he'd actually hit you and all this different stuff. And he was always in character, except when he tried to get in bed with Leah Thompson, he was just, you got to call me Marty. But anyway, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, Jan from The Office was the original Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw the original Jennifer. I forget what year that was. It was a Comic-Con. She was there.
Oh, yeah.
2010. It was Chris's last year, actually.
She was also in the movie Soul Man.
Oh, the classic. Yeah.
A movie that probably couldn't be made today.
Yeah, let's do another commercial break.
Okay.
Why not? So.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I fucking bought something that's pretty cool.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. A little flexible spending account retail therapy. I bought a sauna.
Okay, yeah.
A steam sauna.
Like for your house?
Yeah.
Like a proper like wooden one or the kind that you have a bag?
I will.
Does it latch together?
I'll show you in a second.
And pour water on it?
I don't think I can.
No,
you won't be able to hear me.
I'll
I'll be able to hear you, but I'm going to take you for a little bit of a tour. I'll show you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I thought you were
friends of mine-
listening at home, you
totally
should be here
pulling
live.
a Mitch Hedberg there, like the way you did it. Like, hey, you know what keeps me from getting in movies? Fucking auditions. We can literally just talk shit about Chris right now, and he'll never. He can hear us, but he can't say shit back. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So if everyone out
so
there,
it's wood.
yeah.
It's not wood, but it's kind of like a it's got a liner on the inside there.
Yeah, I've seen those.
He's shown us, and then so it looks like it keeps in the vapor there, and then you zip it up, and then it's got a little pump that kind of he's showing us the moisture. I assume that pushes in some of the steam. Heats it up.
That, like, it's actually where he puts his he kidnaps people and puts them in there. You know,
Jesus, that's what all that water's for.
That's what it's for. Yeah.
No, some friends of mine had one, and it was really, really nice because I was in a car accident. And after I was in that car accident, I went to their house and used their sauna, and it was like just like kind of mellowed me out. It's a really great relaxing.
Yeah. So that's
you
did a great job of describing what I was showing you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so it's a new smoking tent. Yeah, I thought about that. Totally could be, no doubt about that. No, it's awesome. So like, a sauna is like, arguably one of the best things you can do for, blood pressure and all that type of stuff. It's really, really good for your
Is that in your basement?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't take up a large
no,
footprint.
It's not that bad.
It's a one person.
It is. Yeah. It got a little chair that you sit on inside. But so I mean, I've had high blood pressure for a while. And I've always I've been working on reducing it, and like, I've been reading a lot on saunas, and that sauna is like a really a good like outlet, really. And I found online it's called Sauna Box. That's the brand of the one that I have. There's like 5 or 6 different companies that make them. They're all very much the same thing. But this brand, Sonabox, actually accepts flexible spending accounts and healthcare spending accounts. So I was like, fuck, why not? Right. So it was like $400.
I pulled up the website and I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's great.
Cool. I'll get one and record from the sauna.
Now, does your sauna have like the 2 little holes that you can put your arms through and like be on your phone with a little?
No, but they do send you like, and I didn't realize this. They give you like a real shitty version, but I actually bought like a waterproof like pouch.
Oh,
put my phone in, and I'll sit there and like fuck around on TikTok or whatever.
How long you stay in there?
25 minutes at most, half hour. So it's a steam sauna. So it's a little different technology than just your typical sauna. So it's a wet sauna essentially, right?
Yeah.
So it gets about 125 degrees to 130, I think is the max. It depends on, I mean, my basement's cold.
You pull a handle if you're passed out or something?
No.
Pass out so someone knows you're down there?
You just open the door.
Well, what if you pass out? You don't know. I mean, it's like...
then you pass out.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll turn off.
We come back next week and Chris has lost like 40 pounds because
he's all wrinkled.
It happened. I passed out.
But so it gets to like 125 degrees, but it's 100% humidity, right? So the humidity carries the heat even more, and it's like it has like
it's a wet heat.
Yeah, it has a similar benefit as like a 200 or 180 degree dry sauna. Because of the humidity.
I think that's what I had. I had a dry sauna, and it was up to 180.
Yeah,
it was a wood cedar kind of box that you
like. So I don't know. There's no naked guys with kind of thing. There's no naked guys with towels around you.
No.
That's the saunas I've been.
Don't act like you don't like it.
You don't have to be around other naked men to enjoy a sauna. But I mean, if you want to,
I'm just saying the saunas I was in. That's what the deal was.
Okay. Well,
the only drawback is, I mean, it's not necessarily a drawback, but you don't have to, but you definitely should use distilled water. But I also have a CPAP, so I mean, I buy distilled water every week.
Well,
have you tried hemp water?
Well, I wonder one reason why is because
THC water.
If you use like here, for example, all the tap water has fluoride, chlorine, all this other shit that's in it, and imagine putting chlorine and all that other shit in the air
Right.
you're breathing.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, it's more. I think I don't think there's enough chlorine in a water vapor to get you. But
RFK would not be happy with you.
No, fuck that dude. But yeah, it's more of like the minerals that when you evaporate the water, the minerals would gunk up the pipes and all that shit.
Yeah.
So, but this actually prompted me to make a second purchase. I actually bought a water distiller.
Okay.
Because I use it every day in the sauna, but I also use it every day for my CPAP machine at a much lesser rate than I would the sauna. But I was like, yeah, justified. I'll just buy this for $60 and not have to pay $2 a gallon or $1.85.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So with the CPAP and so you have like a back to tank is what you're
Yes, I totally do. Totally do have a back to tank. I gotta get like a blue light in there to like.
We're just living out our Star Wars dreams, guys. Just one fantasy at a time. Okay. So
I think Jack wouldn't get it. He's like, "What the hell's a back?
What's that about?"
I was actually reading something else. Antonio Gates made the Hall of Fame, so fine.
Hey, nice, dude. One of the best ever.
Should have made it in his first try, but that's okay.
Randy wants to know, Chris, do you have a box to keep your dryer sheets in? A dryer sheet box?
I do not.
Okay. All right. Does that answer your question, Randy? There you go.
Why does that question sound familiar, though? Did we talk about this?
We talked about it last week because my wife bought a $5 box, this metal box that says dryer sheets. I sent a text. I sent the text.
So just in case you forget what's in the dryer sheet box,
she thought it would keep them from getting all smashed. I go, they're dryer sheets. They don't. You have to go listen to last week's episode.
It's the very beginning. I joined in like 10 minutes late, Chris. That was the very first question. Aside from, do you have?
Sorry.
This is to hold your dryer sheets.
I said, why do we need? She goes, it looks better.
It even says dryer sheets
to do the laundry. I go, who else is going to see it?
It's an aesthetic, I guess, right?
Can you imagine? You imagine going into someone's house, anyone's, or someone coming into your house and go, they don't have a fucking dryer sheet box.
I was saying, I go,
fucking ingrates.
What the fuck are we doing? I go, she goes, it's only $5.
Literal knuckle
$10, only $20. It adds up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Chris, I did pose the question to Jack. I said, what had more value to you, this dryer sheet box for $5 or watching Olive shrinking and getting Apple subscription for a month?
Wow.
Apple.
Right?
That is a fucking comparison cell if I've ever heard one.
And she loves shrinking. I mean, like I said,
and ironically, you know what happens in a dryer? Shrinking.
There you go.
As in pools.
And it's worse if you don't use sheets, though.
Apparently.
Because, dryer sheets don't come in a box.
That's what she said.
Mama's got a squeeze box.
I think that's the episode title. Dryer sheets don't come in a box.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe not. Well, we could get some better ones going here.
So I broke my bed the other day.
Wow, you're impressive.
Yeah. That's the way I cut into this story. No, I actually did break my bed, but not in the fun way. I went to move it, and it's an IKEA bed that we've had for 12 years, right?
Oh.
And it's like it's not a high quality bed.
So would you say that it's broken in?
Yeah, it might be. So I went to move it the other day, and the fucking thing just snapped. And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I had to prop.
Well, lucky you got that sauna.
Well, no, for the last week I had to get a 45-pound dumbbell. It's like a hexagonal dumbbell. And I was like, I had to jam that thing under the bed and stack books on top of it just to hold my bed up for a week or so. And the only reason why I had to do that for as long as I did is because I left my wife in charge for selecting the fucking bed that we're going to buy to replace it. So it took a week for her to pick one. When we're
12 years. Yeah.
But your bed had a
yeah, like the spare.
Oh yeah, totally.
Your
totally
bed
did.
had a donut.
Yeah,
you had a spare on it. It's jacked up for a while. You're
exactly. So we had to buy a new bed. So we bought one, and I had to put it together last night.
Oh.
And I was like, I definitely procrastinated. I waited, and it was like 5 o'clock comes around. I'm like, hey, man, I better fucking start making this bed, or I'm not gonna have a bed to sleep in. Because I actually had already dismantled the last one after the one got delivered. It took me 4 fucking hours to put this bed together.
Jesus.
4 fucking hours.
You
So
got
you-
done with it and you were like,
Why did
time
it
for
take so?
bed.
I'm not to criticize you. Why did it take so long?
Is it got all the screws and bullshit?
It's a great fucking question, Jack.
Yeah.
I don't know. It had to be there's like the hardware.
Did you get
box.
distracted?
No. The hardware box was like a third of the weight of the shipping box. Like, and whenever you buy these things, are like DIY build together
because the mattress is already put together, right?
But
this is part A. This is
the
part
mattress
N.
is
This is
fine.
part
The mattress
N,
was
this
never
is part
broken.
D.
It was the bed frame.
That's what I'm saying. So you just use the same mattress?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he
But
didn't break the mattress.
No, I
guys.
didn't break the mattress.
I know, but I'm
The bed
just.
frame.
I thought he got a whole new mattress.
Well, that just changes the whole story altogether.
I know, but the
Started
the
over.
thing that pisses me off though is
Rewind.
like they include like an Allen key for the
I
nuts
always
and
use
bolts
my
and
own.
all that shit.
Allen wrench.
Right, and I end up doing that, right? Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to put the fucking thing together because the Allen keys they send you don't fit the fucking hardware that go
never
into
do.
the goddamn bed.
Or they're made with really cheap metal so that at some point you're twisting it
snaps.
and
Oh,
it
yeah.
breaks, and you're like,
Yeah,
It breaks
Yeah.
or strips.
It
Yeah.
bends
just
the fucking
bends.
thing.
You're
So
just
Well,
like,
I get that thing where it you use it on your drill.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
I
the
do
key-
have I bought a
Mhm.
new drill recently, and like I don't have I threw out a bunch of my old shit. I don't have a full drill bit set yet.
yeah, and
Wow,
legit, you
those
could
are-
spend 20 minutes just trying to find that right fucking.
The right.
Are you
exactly.
are you even a man anymore?
I know. But, I have the essential
It's a
drill bit.
spectrum.
But I don't
People can
have
go to
a,
Patriot. People can go to Gillette Stadium, not have to worry about getting their ass kicked.
there you
Yeah.
go.
I bet you're the kind of guy that doesn't even have a hardware set. Oh, you motherfucker!
No, you didn't.
But alas, I actually have my bed has been put together, and it's quite nice. I'm a
4
fan.
hours. Wow, that's a long time.
You
It
know,
was
Chris,
crazy.
We've never talked. It's not mattresses and beds are not something we commonly talk about. But like when I bought this house, I bought my very first brand bed, and I got one of those. I'm not sure where I saw it. It has
Where did
5
you sleep
pieces.
before?
Well, I had exactly what Chris was talking about. I had an IKEA bed that I bought in
Okay.
LA, and that's in my guest bedroom now. But the one I got now is 5 pieces. It's one of those that just interlocks. So you just
Oh yeah, the Thumas.
yeah, I think that's what it is. But yeah, you just
Yeah.
literally just lock it, and you're done in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, those
That's
things
like-
look amazing.
It's so awesome. And I
So
like
your
it.
wife picked the wrong bed, is what you're saying, Chris.
No.
Well, there was criteria involved, right? So like she wanted one that had like a bookcase headboard and like,
Ooh,
storage
that's
over here,
cool.
and all-
Yeah.
which it is.
Okay.
It's pretty.
All right.
That's just what I want.
right.
Is books falling on me when that son of a bitch is rattling.
That's
No, but it's cool. Like it's got like
the joy
it
of
has,
sex.
it has an optional
Hey, look at that. Yeah.
it has an optional LED
Kama
strip that you
Sutra.
can turn on if you want.
Okay,
Oh,
Chris, I'm not
okay.
picking. All right, that seems
Yeah.
a lot more complicated.
And
than
then
just
like there's
right.
also it also has like USB and electric plugs in it, and like
Ooh.
yeah, like
Oh,
it's
you didn't-
it's
well,
pretty
when you were
fucking cool.
Well, now you should have started with that because now I feel bad for making fun of you. It took 4 hours. Now I get it.
Now
Yeah,
I
well,
understand. There were
that's-
there
it
were
was all for the
shelves
show.
involved.
It was for the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
how often do you read in bed?
There are no books on the bookcase.
Okay.
But it does hold other things. Like it's currently got like my
Toys.
my
Dildo.
charging stand and all
Yeah.
my stuff
Strap
on
on.
and stuff.
Lube.
Yeah.
Choker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Got it.
Fucking sex
Check.
swing.
Check.
What?
Does she have a frame for the dryer sheet?
Yep, costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool, man.
Annie, someone
All right.
who lost wore that.
Shelves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I feel bad because I get now why it took so. I'm just thinking, why did it take you 4 hours for a frame?
It was wild. I mean, I had to like hand tighten 500 different fucking bolts. It was-
Okay,
it was nuts.
I get it now, and I apologize.
I remember this is probably 20 or 30 years ago. I remember when my parents got like a fancy bed, and my of course it's your wife's always going to pick it. Your wife's always going to have a cup holder. Nice. Yeah.
Who doesn't need a cup holder?
It's the big deep ones for the new Stanley Cups too.
You gotta stay hydrated.
Does it have an ice maker next to
the
it?
big gulp, you know?
Does it have a refrigerator with beer in it?
Yeah.
Where do you think his soda stream is now?
Makes seltzer in bed every morning.
He does have a healthy stream.
Why is the bet all the I mean, I remember my mom got like I don't know, maybe she was going through like an old fashioned phase or something. But she got one of those really high up fucking beds with the big fucking pillars on the
Canopy bed.
Canopy, yeah. And I remember walking into it when Dad got it all together. I go, "What are you on fucking safari? Like, what the hell is this shit?" Like, you know, like you have to.
They weren't doing anything in the bed at the time.
Yeah, but it had all that shit on it.
Just the illusion.
And I was, and it's also so fucking high up. I was like, you have to jump to get on the goddamn thing. I was like, what the hell? I was like, you're gonna be
when you get older too, you can't climb up that high.
It's funny you mentioned that too. Like this bed is like 2 to 3 inches lower.
Oh, nice.
Then like the platform part of it where the mattress goes is lower. So it's a weird sensation waking up and being like, whoa, I'm already standing. You know what I mean? Like the other one was like significantly higher up, but
yeah. So that's why I love my bed. All I needed was the mattress. I didn't need a box spring. I just needed the mattress. And so I literally, as soon as I swing my legs out, I'm, it's just so easy to get up and down. Yeah. It's like, this is perfect.
Yeah, the last bed, the one that broke was a platform bed, like a slats. But you don't need a box spring for it. This one's the same way.
A lot easier to put together the last one than this one.
Yeah, significantly.
So going back to Apple shows. We already talked about Severance. Chris wasn't here last week. There was a new show that came out that's still, I'm enjoying it still. It's called Prime Target. And it's about a kid in Cambridge, I think, who is doing his research on prime numbers and this whole global conspiracy, and like
it's the dude from White Lotus, right?
Yeah, actually it is him. Yeah, I didn't know about that, but yeah, that's a decent show. It's worth a watch. And then, of course, Mythic Quest season 4 came back as well. I think there's 3 episodes out now. So
yeah, Prime Target is one I'm gonna watch.
I was rewatching last season of Mythic Quest. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna rewatch this as kind of my background show, so I could get caught up before this season. Because I think I may have like petered off in this last season maybe, and I didn't completely finish it. So I'm gonna watch Mythic Quest. If you haven't checked out Mythic Quest, Jack, and you have Apple, it's a nice fun sitcom, that you can kind of start and watch.
I'm looking for some new shows after Prime.
I'm not gonna talk about.
Yeah, you can get through Mythic Quest pretty quick, Jack. Yeah, because
you could definitely binge Mythic Quest on your own.
So stop watching My Name Is Earl and MASH is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I don't know, like fucking give Hacks a try. I'm not gonna like
I don't have HBO I
anymore, but okay. Well, whenever you do,
I said I would. I gotta get my wife on board.
Sure. I know she's got to buy more dryer box.
We can watch. We can exactly. We can watch her crappy shows, but
well, anyway, won't talk about that because we're done with it. My wife and I finished that, but loved all 3 seasons of that. Can't wait for a 4th season. So it's strong.
I don't know.
And talk about character development. That show is so solid on its character development.
Is it going to top Shrinking?
No, Shrinking. It's a different animal. Shrinking is just different animal.
Like I said, Cindy and I both were on board on. I mean, it was just like
you're still talking about Hacks on Max, right?
Hacks on Max, yeah. And it's a completely different animal from Shrinking. However, the character development and the 2 characters of Ava and Deborah are just so dynamic. I just really, really enjoy them. And then there's a comic relief character arc that kind of goes on with 2 other characters in the show, and they're kind of like the B storyline, but they are just as fucking funny. And so give it a shot whenever you do get Max. And if anybody else has not checked it out,
it's funny because the final episode of Shrinking was the last Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So I'm thinking the whole time, I go, all right, who's gonna die?
Yeah, who's gonna be in the coma?
Yeah, exactly. And then at first I thought it might have been Paul, because things are not going well for Paul.
Yeah, true.
I think we're gonna see his character die on the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's what I think Matt was saying is like, I could see it being a 3 season show, or 4 at most.
But I think he makes the show. Can you kill him off?
Yeah.
Well, he's a counterweight,
I think
Yeah.
I think the show would survive without him.
I don't know.
Well, it's just like Matt and I were talking about Dune. That was a show that I really went into thinking, oh, I'm going to like this, and like I quit watching it like on the 5th
Dune
episode.
Prophecy.
Dune Prophecy, yeah, because
I had to rewatch those 6 episodes like 6 times, and I was like, I finally got it. What's up?
Is it like Caprica?
Yeah. Well, it's because it's a niche part of the story.
I think it takes place in 2 different time periods as well, which makes it a little bit confusing. So there's a bit of a reveal that happens in the 5th and 6th episode where everything kind of plays out. There's only 6 episodes, but
the problem with Caprica, I'll say this it was the Eric Stoltz part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I will defend
that part
because
that part was
season 2 was
the
solid.
part with his daughter. It was his daughter, right?
Yeah.
That part was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
The
was.
part where it should have been interesting wasn't.
Right.
Should have been Michael J. Fox.
It should have been Michael J. Fox.
Exactly. I mean, it just was it was one part was so fascinating, the other part was so boring, and I said that's what killed the show.
Yeah. I mean,
I watched it.
I was glad they were allowed to finish it, because like the end of season 2 is great. It's just it was just the season 1 dragged so much, and it was just kind of.
I mean, I like the house, but it's like
yeah.
Pacing of shows is really
could have been really good too, but they got rid of that.
I know that was unfortunate, but
anyway,
Almost Human. They should have kept that show.
Oh, that show is so fucking good.
I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
Billy the Butcher, not nearly as badass.
Yeah,
I can't think.
I thought it was a fascinating show, but it never. Even Cindy watched it, and it was sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unusual.
Plus, that Manika Kelly. Was it Manika Kelly? What's her name?
Minka
Kelly.
Oh,
Nika
God,
Kelly.
Yeah. Smoke show.
Oh. What was that show that was it was right around the same time as that. It was who's the main character for All Mankind?
Ed, you mean?
Joel
you talking about Ed?
Yeah, Ed. I'm trying.
Ed.
The actor was like the main character of the story.
He's been in a couple things.
I forgot the name of
Altered
it.
Carbon.
Altered Carbon. That's what it was. Which was a fucking bad.
I never saw it.
Concept.
Yeah,
like it was such a badass concept, and then it fucking went off the rails. It fell off in between season 1 and season 2. But it was it was so good. And then the way that they kind of handled the ending, I wasn't a huge fan of. But
and the shrink, the
Gaius.
from
Baltar.
Severance.
Oh
no, Severance. The woman who's the shrink, who's the
yes,
she's in Altered Carbon.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! I didn't even think about that. But it wasn't Gaius Baltar in it as well.
I don't recall, but
I think it
So
was.
Gaius Baltar was so different from the original.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But he did well. I mean, I don't know. I can't. Aside from the one episode, The Black Market. I mean, I think that's a perfect show. I mean, I loved Battlestar Galactica.
I have no problem with Black Market.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it comes out of nowhere, and it's just like.
Well, it's to me that's like The Fly, episode.
And I've said this before. That was my first episode that I watched.
Oh, was it?
Because
Black Market or The Fly?
Black Market. Black Market was the first episode of BSG that I watched because my longtime friend, he was my manager and my friend, Ed. He committed suicide in 2013 and we were close friends, artists, like we shared studios and everything and just knew him for so long. Well, and he was, my senior by well, he could have been my dad essentially. Like he was, but anyway,
My
he was.
age? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't remember how much older than well, you couldn't be my dad unless you were 14 when you conceived me. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Anyway, my friend Ed, he was like always after me to watch Battlestar Galactica because he was a huge Star Trek fan. He was a huge science fiction. He would read a novel almost a day. Like he was a voracious reader, read science fiction all the time. And so he was just like, oh, you like sci-fi? You need to watch Battlestar. You need to watch. And I said, Ed, I don't have cable. Well, anyway, this one time he was house sitting for some friends. And, he's like, hey, why don't you come up? They've got cable. This is back in that day when you're just like, oh, cool. So, I went up and that was the episode. It just happened to be on. And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll watch this with you. And
that's season 3, right?
3.
Season 2.
2.5.
Season 2. It's before. It's 2.5. It's in the 2.5. But then after that, I was like, okay, I'm curious about this. I'll go ahead and rent the DVDs and watch them through and everything, But he was a big Battlestar fan. So loved Colonel Ty. And Colonel Ty is another one of those characters that you start off just fucking hating him. Hating him, and like the way they do his character is just so satisfying. So
I think Eric Stoltz would have made a better Apollo. What do you think?
No comment.
But no, I that was one of those shows where everyone kept bugging me to watch it. I'm like, I don't know. And even Ed Hockley was like, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. You need to watch it.
My friend Ed, he's like, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. And then I finally did. It's like.
But I watched the original. I'm like, I don't know. It's But then it was like, watching it. It's like I think Jay watched it first.
Yeah.
And I think remember texting. I go, wait. Boomer's a girl?
Girl? Yeah.
What the hell's going on with this show? Apollo's a girl? I'm not Apollo. Starbucks a girl?
Oh, you should, Randy.
On.
Randy,
the original, they're not.
You should, Randy. You'll enjoy it. It's a good show.
Oh, Randy, you would love BSG.
Randy, this would be a good time for you to rewatch BSG too. It's just it's a good time because it's like 20 years past. You're going to be surprised by all. And you know what?
I just watched it. Did a rewatch like a year ago. It holds up.
Well, what's funny about my dad has the worst taste in movies and TV, and he's the kind of guy that will recommend a John Claude Van Damme show.
Show?
He'll recommend a John Claude Van Damme show. He'd be like, "Hey, you watch this, so excellent." And I'm like,
"Great acting."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was like, no, you clearly don't know. But I remember that very distinctly. Him coming up to me in 2003 because I was home for Christmas, and he said, "Hey, apparently they're made a remake of Battlestar Galactica. It's like an episode or 2." And I went, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah, do you want to watch it?" And I was like, "All right, sure." And I remember me and him both be like, "That's awesome." And it was the mini series, just the
just the mini series.
And then the season came out like that next summer, and I was like, "This is so good." I couldn't get over it. It was like the one time where he actually found something or recommended something that would turn out to be excellent.
Randy, I believe it's on Prime. If you have Prime, you can watch it there with commercials.
It's great. I wouldn't
start with the miniseries. It might be on Peacock. I don't know because I know that it was a Universal Studios.
That.
So NBC.
I've watched it like 5 times. Like every 2 years, I watch it because it's just Again, I've rewatched the original a couple times, and it's like.
It's more surface, less story.
They did what they could. It was only 1 year, and they did what they could. And that because in the original, only if you're a supermodel, you survived. Basically, the original. Jane Seymour is in the original.
She is. That's right. Yeah,
love her.
Yeah, she is. The same. I'll spoil her. She gets killed off, and they keep the kid, which I don't get. But I would have kept Jane Seymour. But that's just me. Kill Boxy. Kill him off.
Yeah,
and Boxy's in the remake.
It's weird because Battlestar Galactica, like in the late 70s, there 80s, we had that like the Star Wars knockoff shows. But what's funny to me as a kid, it was like there was Buck Rogers in the 20th century, and then there was
25th
Battlestar
century.
25th or whatever.
It was Buck Rogers 25th century.
And dude, that
24th.
It was 25th.
Regardless,
baby.
It's actually based on
Grant.
a comic strip, so it goes back a really long way, like that.
Yeah,
that whole. So, whereas Battlestar Galactica doesn't. It doesn't really have that kind of.
You know what Battlestar Galactica also has? Not just a great show, but the fucking score to that show was incredible.
Bear McCreary.
And that Bear McCreary, I believe that might have been like one of his first projects.
It's interesting,
Early.
because
Yeah.
they're roughly the same time,
Let me see.
Battlestar Galactica and Lost. You have such a score-driven show where a lot of it's just effects, but it drives home the emotion.
They use some of the original music.
Yeah,
and what I like is they use some of the original plot lines too. Is
nice, Randy.
I saw that 120, 121, whatever it takes.
Yeah, 38, 39.
But Rick Springfield was Apollo's brother in the original.
Oh,
did you know that?
I did not.
Did not.
He wanted Jesse's girl and got blown up. So
The Bear McCreary has gone on to do Rings of Power. So
yeah,
he does the soundtrack for Rings of Power.
So,
I was just looking at some of his IMDb because I was curious. I know he did work on The Walking Dead as well. So
yep, he did all the Walking Dead composing.
Yeah,
he did. I wish that show wouldn't have sucked at the end.
What's that pirate show?
It just went on too long. Black
Pirate
Sails.
Show.
Black Sails. Yeah, he did Black Sails as well.
Okay, is that a good show?
Yes, it is. It's actually a very good show.
I'm struggling to get through the pilot.
Oh, really?
It seems so stupid.
No, Black Sails is good. Yeah.
The guy the kid that's a cook, and it's like, okay, so I should continue trying to watch it.
So the only reason why I watched the remake of Lost in Space is because the main guy is in Black Sails. And,
he's the dad, right?
Yeah, he's the dad. Yeah,
in Lost in Space. I
Black
never
Sails.
finished the final season of Lost in Space.
I don't think I did either. But
it got stupid.
Yeah. But no, Black Sails was solid. I think it's only like 3 seasons.
I've heard people say great things. I'm like, okay, what am I missing on this?
I mean, it's not a classic. It's not something that you're gonna watch, more than once or twice. But it's definitely, if you have nothing else to watch,
it just seemed like the writing was weak. I mean, I know it's a pilot, but I'm like going,
I remember liking it. I haven't watched it since it finished, but I remember liking it.
All right, I'll keep trying.
Yeah, Maggie Smith's son. Yes.
Oh, really? That's Maggie Smith's son.
Maggie Smith's son. Yeah.
From Downton Abbey.
Yeah. Harry Potter.
I did not know that.
Lots of stuff. Yeah. It's like God, like.
It's like I said last week. Jill, Paul's daughter is Jill Cleburne's, and you guys are like looking at me like, "Who?" She looks just like her. Now that I know her. Anyway.
Well, it's like I forget both of their names. The original guy that played Dumbledore. Fuck.
Don't ask me. I'm not looking that shit.
Well, he's a famous actor. He died.
Michael Gambon.
Is that his name? And then his son's also a really good actor.
James Gandolfini.
I don't want to look him up.
John Favreau.
Richard Harris.
Richard Harris. Yeah, Richard Harris.
Richard Harris. Yeah.
Yeah, Richard Harris.
Oh, his son
is. His son. His son was in Mad Men and tons of stuff. Yeah.
Well, who's his son?
Oh yeah, Jared. Jared is his son. Oh yeah, that's right. I know.
And
what's he in?
He's in tons of stuff.
Mad Men.
Do I know him?
Yes.
Yeah. You would
he's
know
got
him.
the same face, but you don't put two and two together.
Is he drunk?
So you remember like the later seasons of Mad Men when he's the guy that hangs himself. He has a Jaguar.
Oh, that's Richard Harris's son.
That's Richard Harris's son. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was in Chernobyl.
He was in Chernobyl. Yeah, that's
Chernobyl. Yeah, and he plays a villain in something.
Yeah, and then he's also in a good one season show called
Chernobyl is excellent.
It's about the ice voyage in the. Shit.
I didn't know that was Richard Harris's son.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I did not know that. Yeah. I swear to God, I didn't know that.
That's my point I was trying to make. Is like people that you don't realize are their own kids until you really look at them. You're like, oh yeah, I see it. Because
I see it now. But I was like, he played a bad guy.
A bad guy.
The Terror. Thank you, Matt Treist. Yeah.
Terror. Now I got to look it up.
Yeah, The Terror was one. There's 2 seasons, but the first season is the only one you need to watch. It's kind of a weird concept. It's about this British expedition to try and find the Northwest Passage, above Canada, and they know because they actually found the 2 ships like 20 or 30 years ago. is that the crew disappeared.
Jared Harris.
So it kind of
Holy shit!
It goes into these weird kind of sci-fi elements. It's like, oh, like this creature could have killed them, or the crew could have killed each other.
I think I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, I did talk about it. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. If you have nothing else to watch, check it out. It's an interesting show.
Okay, I'm trying to find the show that he was the bad guy.
Yeah, I like the Terror too, Randy. Yeah,
maybe it was Terror.
Yeah.
He's in The Crown.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was Expanse. Was it Expanse?
Oh, Treese says Harris is
right.
Moriarty in the second Sherlock Holmes movie.
that's right. Dark Winds does come back on. Mark.
Oh, he plays Grant, Ulysses S. Grant in Lincoln. You'd love him then, Nick.
I like the ending.
So, well, cool.
I started watching something yesterday. It was on Lee and Grant.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Amazon.
Yeah, I'm halfway through it. I guess.
Well,
I know if you'd
Nothing
like
makes me more tired than talking about fucking dead presidents.
Well,
speaking of which,
president.
let's go ahead and pull this puppy
Lee
over.
was never
We
a
have to do
president.
one more commercial break because I think
generals.
we're at this point here.
Corey and I have those 2 emails remaining too.
Oh yeah.
Let's get to
now
'em.
you tell us.
I don't want commercial ad.
Maybe if he would have won Lee, he could have been a president. But
Well, he would have been a part of a different country at that point if he'd have won.
well, you had what's his name, Jefferson Davis.
Well, yeah, he was president. Yeah.
We just lost him. We're just losing everybody now.
I find it fascinating. I mean,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure. Let's
and
to
I
those
didn't
emails.
realize that Lee he had 2 relatives that signed the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what a dick he was, man.
Mm.
What a traitor.
He's not a traitor.
He's a traitor.
No, he didn't. He fought for his country.
He fought for his state.
It's true.
Didn't
Oh, we
fight for his
actually
country.
got 2 more. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Randy, stop emailing.
That's who they're both.
There was one that was saved for you specifically, Chris. So that's why.
exactly.
Oh,
that's why
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. All right. So this is this one. So this one's from Jess from Canada.
Oh, hey, Jess.
And it's feedback 108. Hello, fellas. I have a little more feedback, and this is for Boston. Hi, Boston.
Hi.
I think, and I feel like it's like a radio program. Hi, Jess. Yeah, but it's a radio program, I guess. I think it's so cool that you have introduced your daughter to Lost. I'm curious when you get to the end of season 1, will you go directly into season 2, or will you torture her and make her wait 3 months like we all had to?
3 months. It was longer than that, wasn't
It's
it?
longer than that. Yeah. Well, maybe
I
8 months.
waited a week.
So
okay, go ahead and answer that. Yeah.
I can answer that question. So I actually did make the joke. I was like, I might make you wait a few months before you can watch the next episode. Like I had to wait. She goes, no. But yeah, I tried and failed.
Was she? What I forgot to ask. Was she really shocked? Was she shocked what was inside the hatch?
Not as much as I thought she would be. Like I think she accepted that quicker than I.
Because who would have thought there was someone inside that hatch?
Right.
Okay. And what about the dreaded 6 months between season 3 and 4 because of the writer strike? Kids these days have it so easy with streaming. That is all. Namaste.
Yeah, definitely has been a topic. When I do it at the end of every episode, right? Because like that show is one of those shows where like you finish the episode and it's like Jesus Christ, is every episode a cliffhanger?
Pretty
The
much.
answer is yes.
Yes.
Right. So like, if we watch more than an episode in a night, it's like, yeah, I'm like maybe I should make you wait till tomorrow. She's like, no, we have to watch another one right now. And the other joke is that she no longer plays a trombone, but if she did, she'd have to master the,
Oh, right.
the outro.
God, I used to do that. I got in such a habit of doing that, like for every show. Like I'd just be like,
Dude, Matt, you're so right. He goes, if it were
Yeah.
out today, we'd have to wait 2 to 3 years between lost seasons.
Oh,
No
sure,
doubt.
seriously.
Look at
yeah.
Stranger Things. They're probably retired now, aren't they?
I mean, I don't even care.
At this
Like, Molly,
point, they should have stuck
just,
to
like,
the
let it go.
original and just have them be aged kids. Looking back, it's
I
like
mean,
now
seriously,
we're
they're all
30
in their 30s now, aren't they?
Nah, well, they're in their
No,
they're all in their mid to early
Mid-20s.
20s.
Yeah.
Which sucks because, if they had it all written out, they could have just boom, boom, boomed it.
Mm.
I mean, has the season? I mean, the last season we had
So
was.
human.
It's this year.
so-
It'll be out this year.
but it's been like 3 years, hasn't it?
It's been longer than that, I think.
Has it been
I'm
that
gonna have
long?
to take another potty break. This is.
I think I was still an L. No, it's been a while. It's been a long time. Come on, Matt, hold it.
Here, Matt.
All right, next
Fine
email.
China.
Next email is from Maggie.
Too good of a stream.
Maggie.
It's called TV feedback.
TV feedback.
Hi, Jack, Nick, Matt, and Chris. I have just caught up on Severance. It is very good. Ben Stiller and Adam Scott have started a Severance podcast that is good. They recapped season 1 leading into season 2, and now they are releasing weekly.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that's cool. Yeah,
Bad Sisters is so good. Everyone should watch it.
I've been curious about that. Yep,
Who's in that?
it's on Apple TV.
It's on
So
Apple,
yeah.
Okay.
keep going, keep going, keep reading. Shut up, Jack.
I'm only 4 episodes into Silo season 2. A group of friends and I are watching 2 episodes a week. We watched Bad Sisters and Shrinking when it was coming out, but couldn't fit Silo in as it aired. Maggie.
That's what she said.
Actually,
Well,
this is
I'd be
fun, too.
curious, Maggie, to hear what you think of Silo if you stick with it and
I gotta start Silo.
binge through it faster than what we've done. I need to just finish this season since it is already out. And Nick, you've said that the last 3 episodes of season 2
it's either the last
home.
It's either the last 3 or last 2, but yeah,
Okay.
it ends solid. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. The next email is from Randy, and it actually is an email.
Oh,
Hi, RCAD gents. You can't steal Chris's.
That's Chris's
word.
line.
It's Chris's word.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
This is primarily directed at Matt.
fuck.
Ooh. Matt's in trouble.
But it's okay if you other dudes listen.
You want a glass of water,
Okay.
Matt?
Sure.
I enjoyed hearing you talk about your comic book class. I was really into comic books as a kid. When I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, my teacher pulled my parents aside at school at a school function and whispered, "Do you know that Randy is reading comic books?" Back then, comic books were widely considered harmful and beneath the education system.
Yes.
Apparently, my dad responded, "Can he read?" Teacher said yes. Dad said good. Then that's fine.
See spot run.
Ironically, my mother was also an elementary school teacher in the same building.
Oh.
Well, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
My favorite comic books were Sergeant Rock, Batman, and various Disney collections.
Sergeant Rock.
Yeah, I never heard Sergeant Rock either.
Sergeant Rock, military kind of themed, aren't like war comics. I assume it fits into that, Sarge. Randy, I'm curious as to like what time period this would have been that the teacher. I'm assuming that it's early 50s. I'm assuming that's early 50s.
Early 50s. How old was Randy?
Damn, I don't think Randy's that old. But
Okay.
I would say early 60s.
I don't know why they would be so down on comics because the code came out in the mid 50s, but I guess they still just thought it was kind of trash. I know the Marvel craze started kind of in 62, roughly with Fantastic Four.
If you watch old shows,
Mhm.
they always the person reading the comics is always the dumb guy.
Yeah, I mean, comics.
I'm not trying to be mean, but that's
no. Comics are widely shit on by both the high literature and the high art crowd. So high art is one over here, and they're just like, well,
still to this day.
And then over here, yeah, still to this day. And then literature is over here, and they're just kind of like, And only when comics reached the highest heights of like, let's say, Mouse by Art Spiegelman, which actually won a Pulitzer, ironically named after Joseph Pulitzer, who started yellow journalism, but that's another thing. No, was it a Pulitzer or a Nobel Prize? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
I thought Randolph Hearst started yellow journalism.
Well, it was Hearst and Pulitzer. They were fighting. It took two to tangle for the yellow journalism, and they were both in part of that. But anyway, just the backlash that happened with horror comics in the 50s with the EC comics. So EC comics, entertaining comics with Tales from the Crypt and stuff like 60s. This. Oh, okay, late 60s. They were trashing on you, and then because here's the thing, like they came out with the code, and then they they pretty much kind of took anything that was adult out of comics. It's kind of dumb in a way where like now we have this rating system, right? Like back then, the thing that the publishers did is they were like, well, we should just band together and make sure that we have stuff that fits into this guideline. And in doing so, they essentially did what is kind of the fear mongering, right? Where it's horror comics. That's the problem, right? Well, you know who benefited from this? The people that weren't selling horror comics. They basically cut out the competition by saying, let's cut out horror comics, which the one company that was most successful with this was EC. So in doing so, DC helps bankrupt EC Comics. And the other comics benefited.
So they wanted to get rid of horror comics.
They wanted to get rid of, like, they thought that this was a blight or just like this horrible thing that was causing juvenile delinquency because kids were somehow affected by these gruesome images in these horror comics, that they were going out and causing this mayhem and mischief and stuff like that. It's kind of ridiculous. So Randy says rural hillbilly country. So that makes sense, I guess, the fact that they would be.
He said rural Pennsylvania, like where Jack people are from.
Where my people from. I'm from the big city of York, Pennsylvania, so right next to Gettysburg. So
no, I mean that's really fascinating, Randy. Obviously my brain's just kind of. Oh, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no, it's fine. We need to take for you to respond to some of that. The rest of them were Archie's, of course, Richie Rich, and the classic illustrated series, which were classic literature books turned into comic books. Oh, I remember those. I think I still own some of those with my dad's.
I read Archie's comic books.
Yeah.
Peanuts. I used to like the.
You like Jughead.
It makes sense that your parents would have gotten you educational comics to help try to offset this scourge of
Right.
So.
It's like in Major League where she makes him read. He's got the comic books on the plane. Like, I read Moby Dick. And probably others that I can't remember. Later in college, undergrad, I took an elective course called the Popular Arts. It was just a fun course to fulfill a humanities elective. It was a hodgepodge of different things that provided an overview and history of the lesser recognized arts. It included vaudeville, burlesque, minstrel shows, political cartoons, newspaper comic strips, and comic books. It was a really fun class. Hearing you talk about your comic book class reminded me of it, except we didn't have nude models in our class.
There you go, Matt. You gotta expand to vaudeville.
Yeah. And then then signs off.
None of your students have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, he signs off. Your pal and Forever in Blue Jeans.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Randy. I don't know what we were talking about.
Vaudeville comics.
Vaudeville. Yeah. It's fascinating though. The vaudeville has like such an impact on early comic and humor. So stand-up comedy as well as a lot of early radio comedy, and then a lot of that humor also translates into comic strips at that time. And for anybody that wants to know more, the show card for this episode I had as Krazy Kat, which is one of the earliest cat comic art pieces created by George Herriman, who was
Felix the Cat.
Well, no, it would influence Felix the Cat. So Felix the Cat would come after
Professor
Krazy Kat. But George Herriman was mixed, and he is one of the very earliest Black comic artists. So happy Black History Month there. There's your little corner of knowledge. George Herriman.
It was inspired by Felix the Cat.
Felix the Cat would have been inspired, like Krazy Kat would have inspired Felix the Cat. And Krazy Kat was a very popular. It's a very popular comic. It dealt with this cat and this mouse that always threw a brick at the cat's head. The cat was in love with the mouse. Yes, Tom and Jerry. It all goes back to Krazy Kat.
My fifth grandchild, he's 2.5. He loves Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
One last thing that's so weird about Krazy Kat and George Herriman is that the characters on the show, or not the show, but in the comic strip, they often change genders, so they are gender fluid. So, yeah, get woke, people.
I thought the exact same thing, Mommy Mike. He had to pee so badly, and then now he's just reabsorbed.
I reabsorbed.
It's all reabsorbed the urine. You know?
I'm gonna have a pee baby after this, but no, I'm fine.
Pee baby.
I actually think that
Chris just let out a gross face. He was just like, "What the?"
No, I just realized my microphone was turned off.
Okay.
That actually.
I was saying, happy National Black History Month, even though your own government won't acknowledge it.
Right. Yeah. There you go. So I'm just going to teach it even harder.
That was one of my favorite jokes on Superstore. Was they were doing like a Black Friday sale or something like that, and the character Cheyenne. Well, she's like, I had to pee so bad like 2 hours ago. Now I don't have to pee. Where did it go? Where did it go? All right, and then Brandy's last email is a dad joke. So,
okay, great.
Yep. What do you call someone who tells dad jokes but isn't a dad?
A joke.
Faux
what?
I got it. Faux pas.
Faux pas. Okay.
Got it.
A faux papa or a faux pas?
It should be a faux papa. Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah.
I get the faux pas.
Yeah.
My son calls me paw sometimes. So
paw.
I think it's
paw.
Pops. He likes to call me Pops as well.
Yeah.
I think he's reached that point where he just doesn't want to call me Dad.
That was something that drove me nuts with my brother-in-law. So apparently a lot of guys in Georgia, especially southern Georgia, still call their dad daddy as adults. And that just threw me off for like the first 5 or 6 years I knew him. Like, why do you call your dad daddy? That just sounds weird. Like, you're a grown-ass man. Like, why are you calling him daddy? Like,
it's mom and dad at that point.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I mean, it'd be like if Jay's like, hey, daddy. And I'd be like, why are you calling Jack daddy? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. I wouldn't even respond to him.
Yeah.
Episode title is Jack Daddy.
Jack Daddy. All right. On that note,
let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for this podcast. Send us a email at rcadcast@gmail.com.
Once again,
rcadcast@gmail.com.
Follow us on YouTube. If you subscribe to our YouTube Ramblecast After Dark, you'll get notifications when I post the show and we're going to have it. And click like and subscribe, all of that jazz. Go over to jandjack.com, become a patron member. Some people have made this show possible. Every week they make this show possible. So thank you to Eckhart Richter Glatfelter, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the Master Plan, and Ed the Cool Cat, Krazy Kat, letter carrier. Thanks for doing what you do.
I like how you worked that in. That's clever.
Yeah, so that's why I get paid the big bucks here doing this producer job.
Wake up, Sherry.
Anyway, thanks everybody, and Chris, I'm sorry for everything that you've been going through, but it was really great having you back and just
appreciate it. It's rough, man.
So he's always good. So, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for everybody that joined us in the chat too. Miami Mike.
Hasta luego, and goodbye.
Good evening.
See ya.